So you just landed a new client and you're ready to get things going, but you don't really know what to do for the onboarding process. Stay tuned, we're gonna go through that in this video. All right, welcome back everybody. My name is Jordan Steen, also known as Serial Entrepreneur, and at this channel we talk all about starting a marketing agency, running a personal brand, building a business online. So if you're interested in learning about any of those things or just learning about how digital marketing works, then make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell in the bottom right hand corner right below this video. So the onboarding process is a super important part of taking on a new client. Why? Well, because it's going to do one thing primarily, which is make sure that they don't kind of come back to you and say, all right, well, we want to cancel our plan. We kind of changed our mind and we're not thinking about going that route anymore. So this onboarding process actually does more than just gathering information and getting all the proper information like passwords and usernames and information about the company and their clients. It does more than that. It actually secures the sale that you just landed. And that's really what's most important, because if you don't continue to do business with them, then none of the other things matter. That's what's most important. So let's talk about what you need to do to run a smooth and easy onboarding process. Oh, and if you stay till the end of this video, I'll make sure to tell you about how you can get access to a checklist for your marketing agency about onboarding and some things you'll want to make sure you include. So the onboarding process really does two main things. Number one, it collects a bunch of information about customer, their clients, their login information, all of that, right? But the second thing, again, is that it builds trust and it helps them have a better experience overall with your marketing agency. So that way, when it comes to testimonial time, they're like, oh yeah, it was super easy to work with this agency. And that's super important for you guys as agency owners to know. So that's why we want to do this process, and that's why you need to know the 5 main steps to collecting information and what you need to get from these clients. So let's go into that. So step number 1 is to collect basic information about the client. What's their business name? Who is the client? Like, what is the actual owner's name or marketing director's name? What is their phone number, email address? How do they prefer to be contacted? All of that is super important because you want that to be easy for your agency to be able to communicate with their business. Also, you're doing things like sending the contract or any credit card authorization form, so that way you can use their credit card for ad spend if you need to. So all of those things are things you want to go ahead and send over to your clients. The final part of step 1 is really just to make sure that they've checked, or really check, I guess, and make sure that they've signed the documentation and filled out all forms properly and that there isn't any missing information. Number 2 is to schedule an onboarding call. And what the purpose of this call to do is to kind of reaffirm everything that you plan to do with their business, make sure that you're setting the expectations properly, and then kind of outline a plan of what you plan to do. This is not something you want to do before you've actually got the agreement. Right now, before you actually have the client, you're just trying to pitch them and get them on with your agency. Then once you land them, you go back and you go into the in-depth strategy of what you exactly plan to do to get their business results. And so now that you've done that planning, you actually want to go and kind of outline that plan to the business owner so they understand what your goals are and how you're going to accomplish them. The biggest recommendation I have for you guys during the selling and the onboarding process is to take notes. Take a notepad and a pen and paper or something and actually write down what they're saying. Don't sit there and just listen and pretend like you're going to remember everything, because you're not. Take a pen and paper and write things down. Number 3 is to send a welcome email. And the real reason why you want to do that is because you're going to send all of the onboarding documentation and questionnaires and all of the information that they need to sign, but they might have other questions that you're not even aware of that maybe even weren't included in the onboarding form. So just send them a brief email just saying, welcome, thanks again for signing up with us. We're super excited to have you on. If there are any questions, please go ahead and ask them now before we start the campaign. A lot of them will be answered in our onboarding call when we, go through the outline. But if you have any other questions that just don't make sense right now, go ahead and feel free to ask them via email. Just shoot me a message back. This again helps them feel more comfortable with your agency, so that way you're able to, guide them a little easier through the process. So number 4 is to get the new client questionnaire out and over to them. I consider it the onboarding form. And what this does is it asks them a ton of questions. Usually I just kind of combine it all into one form where you're asking them the name and the business information, like the phone number and email. I also put this in with my onboarding questionnaire, and this questionnaire goes into things like, what are your goals? What is the average age of your client? What does your client like to do for fun? Things to know about their customers, so you're able to build a better marketing campaign. The other objectives are to collect information about their marketing currently and like what they're actually spending on or what they've tried in the past that hasn't worked or has worked. Have they run ads on social before? because this is going to help you have a better understanding of what you're going to need to get done to see results. Oh, and if you're wondering what kinds of questions you should be asking these potential marketing clients or your marketing clients, either when you're in the meeting with them for the first time or whether you're, asking them again during the onboarding process, check out this video in the top right-hand corner. That's going to help you with that. Oh, and if you want more questions than, what's in that video right there, we actually put some in the blog article for this video and blog. We always do a blog article with our videos. So if you want to get the blog and see, more information about all these steps we mentioned previously, plus some of the questions you can ask and how to follow up and wrap everything up with the customer, then definitely make sure to check right below this video. There's a link to the blog article down there. The fifth and final thing is where you request marketing resources from the client. So things like their login information, their username and password. If they're not comfortable with giving you the username and password, then they need to actually go and add you as a manager on all of these platforms manually themselves. So one way or another, you're going to have to get access to their campaigns, right? You can either do it by getting usernames and passwords, or you can do it by collecting or having them add you as a manager to those accounts. I recommend getting the passwords and usernames and using something like LastPass to disseminate that to everyone else on my team. But it's kind of up to you how you want to manage that process and then what the client wants to do. The next thing you're going to want to do is get access to things like their email list, so that way you can, get access to their customers to build audiences. If you need to for Facebook, you'll need to get Google Analytics so you can look at what traffic is working or what content really is working, what's not. You want things like company logos, so that way you can do the branding side of things and create images and video, right? So all of those things are things you want to ask for from these clients. And you can either do it all in one onboarding form yourself, like we kind of do, or you can do it in different stages to make sure that you separate everything out and it's not too much at one time for each client. I personally like to do everything at once. I don't feel like it's too much, and if they're spending a decent amount, they're going to take the time to go through it. Now, I don't want this video to get too long, and there are other processes like we call the follow-up during the onboarding process and when you should reach back out to them, how those calls should go. So if you're wanting to find out more about that, again, I'm leaving all of that in our blog article at serialentrepreneur.academy. So if you want to see that, again, the link to the blog article is right below this video in the description. Check that out and you'll get all of that information about the follow-up process and those questions I mentioned there. So thank you for staying. And since, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, we are going to give you a checklist of things that you can use to basically ask or, check off so that way you get your onboarding process right, then make sure you go right below the video again, and it's at the very top of the description. There will be a link for that checklist. So check that out because we know it's going to help you guys out. But everybody, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you, do me a favor and just hit the thumbs up right below this video so that way other people just like you starting a marketing agency can see it and get the help that they need. And again, if you haven't subscribed and you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get all of our updates, free trainings, and templates that we give away here at our channel. But that's it, everybody. I will see you guys on the next video. And until then, Serial Entrepreneur out. Bye, guys.
Ready to start living the six-figure work wherever, be your own boss lifestyle? Well, at Serial Entrepreneur Academy, we'll teach you how to use a laptop and internet to start your own social media and digital marketing agency. Get started with our free Facebook ads training. Links in the description below, guys. See you in the course. Serial Entrepreneur out.